We're back.
We're back. We've always been here. I just muted us for a hot minute.
JJ's choking, but she still wants to go through with the recap.
Guys, I'm going to die recapping Summer House. And this is not the way that I want to go. What you missed, because I'm not going to allow you to be subjected to that, is that I just choked on a piece of food and it is lodged in my chest. You know that when that little baby kernel of something that you've eaten just gets lodged in your chest? Like, it feels like it's in the sponginess of your chest.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I am going to die. I feel like Miranda in that episode of Sex and the City where she chokes on a chicken bone and she's like, oh my God, I'm going to die here alone. And the only person that's there, the only thing that's there is her cat. She's like, this is not the way to go.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel, because that's how I feel with Summer House. Anyway, Summer House is going to be the death of me, and I just don't want to go this way.
No, we're not going to let you go out that way. We're not going to let you go out that way. We're going to be okay.
Okay.
We're going to be okay.
In other news, Betsy's coming with me to Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we need vindication here, because obviously it was a little touchy last week. And
why did somebody throw a fit on the mic? I don't know who that would have been.
I didn't know it was going to affect you that way. I really honestly did not. And so I kind of felt bad, but then I also thought it was a great cold open for our episode. So I was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, if you will. At your own expense.
I listened to the cold open. I was like, wow, I sound so bitter.
Yeah.
And there was a fire going on. I was like, okay, make it light, but who cares? Who cares? And then somehow.
But you would oscillate. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of Austin Kroll. It'd be like, I don't care. And be like, I care. And be like, I don't care. And be like, I care. I care. God. And then you'd be like, I don't care. I don't care. I care.
No, I do care.
Yeah. It was very that.
I didn't go on that long though. It wasn't like we were an hour in. I was like, and also Taylor Swift would hate this comment too. I mean, it was just at the beginning, okay?
I mean, it was a solid 7 minutes.
All right, okay. Look, I own it. Own it. Just like Lisa Rinna. Okay, I own it.
Own it.
Yeah, so I owned it.
Well,
and we're ready for it. Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
Are you ready for it? I would like to wear, I probably won't really have any outfits because, we don't have very much time, but I would like to wear.
Do we need to have outfits?
No.
I'm wearing a normal, regular person outfit.
Yeah, I think I'm going to too. But
is this a thing that we need to wear costumes to?
No. Well, people do. But what I was going to say is, that's okay. What I was going to say is I want to be, I think I saw it on Amazon. There's a line in All Too Well that's like, I'm a crumbled up piece of paper. And so I just wanted to wear a crumbled up piece of paper. And I guess there's still time. That won't be too hard to come up with.
We can make it happen.
I could just also write on my shirt, I'm a crumbled up piece of paper. That could work too.
Will it be a metaphor for how you feel, or is it more a costume?
No, it's like a costume, but I thought it was a hilarious line. It's one of my favorite lines. Because who doesn't feel like a crumbled up piece of paper at some point?
I feel like a crumbled up piece of paper today.
Right now.
Okay. In this recording alone, I feel like a crumbled up piece of paper.
In the corner, on the floor.
Yeah. Here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm going to be really disappointed if this swan dive that she does doesn't happen, because in the last concert.
Happen. Oh, she didn't do it?
Did you not see that clip of that? Okay. In one of her concerts in the last week, she goes to do the swan dive, and there's a missing component that allows her to do the swan dive. And she looks down and she's like, I'm supposed to be diving right now. And you can see her mouth fuck. And she starts laughing, and then it finally gets into place, and then she swan dives.
Oh, well, I kind of like that version.
I mean, it was funny, but
little fuck.
What version do you want? Do you want the one where there's a mishap, or do you want the one where she nails
I don't want her to get injured, but...
Well, no, she's not getting injured. I think that there was a timing issue.
Yeah.
There was a blocking issue that I think that they were a little latent to get there to...
I would like for it to happen the way it's supposed to happen, because then it really spooks people. Because what I will say is there's probably a lot of people going to this that have been avoiding online like the plague, because they don't want it to be ruined. They don't want to know what the first song is. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go into this. So let me just be a part of anything on TikTok. So I feel like I've seen, some certain aspects. So there's probably going to be people that are going to this show that don't know that she's going to be diving into the stage. And I hope to hear some of the frightening reactions.
Oh, well, should I cut this out of the recording? Oh,
no, because I already said it.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
I was like, she dives. She dives.
That dives.
Dives. She dives into a pillow of mattresses and then gets carted. But very excited.
I'm really excited too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll take
We're
our
going next
phone
week.
with us.
Wait, excuse me.
That sounded so weird. I
No,
meant
no.
to be like, we'll take some videos. We'll take
Guys,
some videos.
I'm going to bring my camcorder. I've got this. We'll let you know how it goes.
As if
Once I
you-
digitize it and then I put it on Instagram.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like, what?
As if there's not thousands of videos out there already, but
You'll be the first. We're just going to take video like normal people and put it up
Yes.
on Instagram.
yeah, maybe.
Guys, we're bringing our phones in case you didn't know. Around the world, we're bringing our phones.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I want to go see Blink 182. You want to go?
That looked. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that, and it looked fun.
Let's go.
I never saw them in my youth.
Your youth.
My youth.
Yeah, let's go. Anyway,
All right.
shall we?
Shall we? Let's get into something, sort of exciting.
Let's get into some
Mer House.
Yeah, there we go. Oh God,
Perfect.
today's gonna be a bad day for you guys.
Sorry,
I'm so sorry.
guys.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Reality Bites, the podcast where we'll deep dive into this week's buzziest reality TV and pop culture happenings.
I'm Betsy, and while I may be 9 to 5 by day, I'm a reality connoisseur by night.
And I'm JJ, a reality TV producer by trade, but my favorite pastime is dishing unfiltered dirt and behind the scenes scoop. We'll tackle the biggest and best water cooler moments of the week through an insider lens you won't find anywhere else.
Buckle up, buttercups.
Please don't tell me it's about Tom.
It's about Tom.
This is Reality Bites.
I started off being like, okay, who are these people again? Let me get grounded. Let me remember who these people are.
Yeah. So for our new listeners, Betsy used to recap Summer House with me, but she took a sabbatical. and and then it went to myself and executive producer
Yeah.
recapping, but executive producer being in Atlanta on her new show and show running that, it's just been a little dodgy. And I really hate to give you a solo recap because as much as I appreciated all the kind words from everybody saying that I had it under control, the fact of the matter is no one wants to listen to somebody solo recap anything.
It sounded good though. And
you. I
honestly,
appreciate that.
with like, yes, I have kept up. I'm joking, but I'm really, to be transparent, I really haven't been paying.
Well, you
that
were
close
never a
of
big
attention.
Summer House.
Right.
Like you like it, you're a fan of, but you're not a
Yes.
big
Correct.
commitment.
Correct.
You don't have a big commitment to Summer House, yeah.
But when I listened to your solo recap, it made me feel like I was involved.
Did it get you back in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like themes and like,
Yeah.
it helped to really break down, okay, what I was watching in the first episode is still happening, but kind of like more in depth.
So before we get into this episode specifically, how are you feeling about Summer House?
Well, so this episode and last episode, I thought I actually really, for the most part, really enjoyed it because both of them felt very light with the party, like with Kyle's party or 40th birthday. And then this had some more intense moments, but really from head to toe, I kind of thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And I really do like these people. I really, really like Paige. I really like Amanda and Sierra. I like all of them, but it also did feel like the drama that's happening was the drama that was happening.
The last time you were watching it?
Yeah.
So 5 episodes ago?
Yes.
So here's what's so great about Betsy recapping Summer House with me because you have an investment, but it's not the same type of investment that I have, only because I've been watching it since the beginning.
Yeah.
So to get your perspective is going to be really interesting because I have a little bit more probably bias maybe or just a little bit more of an attachment. So I think you're going to be able to come in even more objective than I think that
Well, I
I'll
guess
be able
we'll
to
see.
come into it.
We don't even know, but
Well,
maybe.
I am really curious to know like all your thoughts about Danielle, Lindsay, Carl, Kyle, all the
We're still here.
I'm a mess today, guys. all of the dynamics within the house. So,
Yeah. All right.
shall we get into it?
Thanks for stopping by, guys. I'm just kidding.
All right, let's get into it. How do you feel about this themed party?
I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Why,
like
you-
Kyle's?
You
No,
didn't like it? You didn't like his little...
No.
little hat?
No. I forgot about that part, by the way. Yes, I did enjoy it. I love a good hoedown.
I mean, they all looked really hot, like like physically, but then like they were looked like they were really actually like very hot.
They look miserable.
Like they were just sweating their ass off.
This is the one show that, as much as I love it, I just feel like it's underrepresented. And what I mean by that is just not as diverse as I think it should be with the different bodies, because everyone is so hot. I just feel underrepresented. Okay, because I'm watching this and I'm like, but where am I?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Where
in
are
this?
we?
Where are we represented? Because this cast is really fucking good looking, and I just want to know,
Yeah.
when are we going to get a me? You know, somebody who's just a little soft,
A little relatable.
a little relatable, waddles around. Now the way that I describe myself really just leaves a lot to be desired, and that desire is no longer describing myself. So
I love it. No, we'd both be waddling around. We'd both be really, really hot.
I can't. And we live in a climate that's very, very, very hot.
Grew
but
up, we
this
both grew up in
feels-
Texas.
We did.
So we know.
But whatever this is feels miserable. And they're all like in either leather or faux leather.
Yeah.
Pleather.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And Lindsay and Danielle also look miserable in this conversation. They're both hot, and it feels like Danielle doesn't want to be a part of this.
I also felt like Danielle seemed wasted. Like,
Oh, yeah.
not like, oh, I can't put words together, but she definitely seemed, Lindsay seemed like she was buzz drunk. Danielle seemed like she was very drunk. And so I think that also leads to like kind of crying. And then Lindsay's like, I'm just going to hug you. You're suffering. You're suffering. Something's wrong. And then just like hugging her and then like kissing her. And then it's like, okay.
It was a little awkward.
It was like very forced, but I was like,
Yeah.
okay, kind of sort of a breakthrough happening here. Who knows what tomorrow holds? Like right now, it seems like, okay, you know,
Is
like,
it though?
yes, because just get over it. Just get over it, both of you. That's what I feel. Like we're fighting really about nothing is what I feel. And just get over it.
Well, neither one of them want to concede to
Well, that's
what each other are feeling.
well,
But I will say that by and large, I think that I'm siding a little bit more with Danielle. There are moments in this episode, though, that I am definitely
Yeah.
on Lindsay's side. If I had to say overall, who am I going to side a little bit more with, it's probably Danielle, but I have problems with both. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both of them are just, it's too much for me. And I just think that they're both on different paths, and neither one of them want to accept the demise of their friendship, very much in the same way that neither Kyle nor Carl want to accept that their friendship has changed. No one wants to accept.
yeah.
Now, we see with Kyle and Carl this episode that it feels like their relationship is a little bit more on the up and up. Although when we see Carl tell Kyle that he wants to get married to Lindsay last episode, it doesn't really seem like Kyle's excited. Which I think is the overall theme with this episode, is that no one seems excited.
Yeah.
Which, are we surprised by that?
No.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I think Kyle at this point is like, I just want to kind of stay out of it.
Yeah.
And I want to, we all seem happy together. Or,
Okay, but he could do a better job of at least feigning that he cares. I mean, Kyle does not look like he's interested at all.
but it works because Carl didn't really care.
No, that's
So
true.
Carl's like, okay, he's saying he's happy. I'm
fuck
gonna
it.
go with it. I mean, sounds good. Thanks for saying that to me. I really appreciate that, man. That's all he needed.
Yeah.
Just him to be like, oh, well, great, man, cool, wow. But I think, I don't know. Because I get it. The Lindsay and Carl stuff still seems kind of like a lot. This episode, I didn't feel it as much in my face.
It feels like it's subsided
Right.
a little bit. Yeah.
Than I did with my last episode I saw. It was really a lot. It does seem like it has dialed down a little bit, which I appreciate. And so I don't even know, because I haven't paid strong attention, like, because I really honestly thought I was going to automatically side with Danielle, and just from what I saw on the trailer, and then just kind of like with history's past, Danielle to me seems like a girl's girl. She's like a loyal one, and I just, I like her. But I don't know. Especially this episode, I just feel like what Danielle is arguing about is not even something she really cares about. It's something else is going on, and I don't know if it's a personal thing with her. And I know now she and the boyfriend, Patrick, what was his name?
Robert.
Oh my God, I went like to Stassi. Patrick. Like, I know that they're broken up now. So like,
Yeah.
I wonder if this was kind of a lot was going on with that. I think
You feel
something
like
else
it's
is going.
misplaced.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it's misplaced. I think other things are going on, and I think because of that, I tend to sort of side a little bit with Lindsay in that regard, just because I don't think that Danielle's really up in arms about like this is moving too fast. There's something else going on. Maybe it's resentment with Lindsay and how she
Projection,
felt.
maybe. Yeah. So I think when we first started this season, it definitely felt as though Danielle felt an absence from Lindsay, which I think that exists, right? I think that it's still there. And I think that Danielle still feels that. However, I think that the weight of that is misplaced. I think earlier on, it was 60-40, and now we're in a place that feels like it's 45-65, where Lindsay is giving a little bit more, and it's now more Danielle than it is Lindsay. I think it's oscillating in between.
Yeah.
Where I was on Danielle's side initially, I still am categorically in its totality, because I do think that Lindsay is not as good of a friend as I think that she could be.
Sure.
But I think in this particular conversation, it does feel a little misplaced. And I think we find that even more at the end, the housewarming. It still feels a little misplaced. Comes a point where I'm going, all right, Danielle, I've been on your side and I will ride hard for you, but I do think that you need to give it up at this point. Mm-hmm. So then it becomes, is it really Carl and Lindsay moving too fast? Or do you really just are upset with your friend being gone and you don't have them in the same way that you need? And I do think that she is struggling personally. And I don't think that has come to light. One, either we're not pushing her to talk about that, or we're just really not giving it any real estate, because maybe Danielle doesn't, or isn't maybe really showing or really expressing where they're at in their relationship. Maybe she's feeling that it's fractured, her and Robert.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really know what to make of that, because maybe her and Robert haven't even talked about it.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little misplaced. And I do think that it's okay for her to have a judgment about their relationship as a whole. But it's one of these things where it's like, let's just keep that to ourselves at this point, I think.
Yeah. I just, that entire scene at the housewarming party, to me, she's like, I treat you like my sister, and let me know if you don't have this type of friendship. Like, I want to feel like I can be honest and straight up with you. This is also a situation that, like, I think you can say that. I think you can be like, wow, I think you're moving kind of fast. This seems like a lot. But then you need to be like, do you feel like you're moving fast? Like, how are you? And then if your friend says, well, no, I'm happy, this is what I want, then you have to drop it. I don't have a problem with Danielle saying, this seems fast. I just want to check in. Like, this seems like a lot.
Correct.
But then once Lindsay says, no, this is what I want, it's fine, then you have to let it go.
You have to let it go, and you have to take it for face value.
Yeah.
Like, we cannot continue to ride for this. That, to me, is how I know that it has to be something else. Like, I agree with you.
No, yeah.
Because she feels very... I think that Danielle has a really good head on her shoulders, that in any other normal situation or circumstance, if her and Robert were doing okay, and we're pontificating that at this point that they may be rocking the boat a little bit, but if they were okay, I don't think that she would be writing hard for this, like, point
of a timeline and, like,
Correct.
how fast things are going.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that she would be concerned, and I think that she would express that. So I think that this is definitely rooted in truth. I just don't know how significant it would be to her in the way that we're seeing it right now. Mm-hmm. It feels a little misplaced, and it's just not like Danielle to care this hard. Mm-hmm. We know she cares hard. We've been tracking that story all season. We know that she rides hard for Lindsay, and Lindsay doesn't ride as hard for her. Right? That all exists. However, in this particular case, I do think we're riding a little too hard, and I don't think that it's something that is necessarily rooted in absolute truth. I think it is stemming more from maybe she just feels a little lonely. And she alludes to that. She's like, why aren't you asking me about me? She says this at the end of the 40th birthday party, and it comes up again at the housewarming, which is a whole other thing, because we leave that conversation seemingly like everything's kind of a little bit better.
Yeah.
Danielle feels like
the party.
Exactly.
Kyle's
Danielle
party.
feels like Lindsay doesn't check in on her. And I think Lindsay doesn't understand what that is, because I don't think that she's that type of a friend. Mm-hmm. We all have different types of friends, and they all serve us. And I don't mean that selfishly. I just mean like they all serve us in different ways. That's why you have multiple friends with different types of personalities. And I just don't think that Lindsay's that type of girl. I have friends that are Lindsay's. I've accepted them for who they are, and I know what they can bring, and I know what they can't. And I think that Danielle's going to have to start accepting that Lindsay is not going to be the type of friend that she is looking for. And that is disappointing, and she's grieving, I think.
Yes. I do think it has more to do with that. And also, it might not help that some of the other girls are like, you've always been ride or die for Lindsay, and you're a great friend to her, and what has she done for you? So I think she's also kind of hearing that a little bit in the background, and it's kind of, probably pumping her up a little bit more so when she wouldn't have been. She wouldn't have been that upset. So, and I think you put that on top of her, something is going on with the relationship. It definitely seems fractured. He's working all the time. The few scenes that we have seen with the two of them seem real fucking awkward. They don't look like a happy situation.
Can we talk about the phone call?
Oh, yeah.
Was it that night? No, it is that.
I think it was the
next morning.
I think it was
That's what
the next morning.
She FaceTimes him, and he's like, yeah,
I just,
What are you up to? It's like,
yeah. He's
Robert,
like,
hello?
I miss Kyle too. It's like, oh, okay.
That's right, because she's like, I missed you. Like,
He's
you know,
like,
you're
I
not
miss
here.
Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just,
I wish I could have been there too.
yeah. I mean, something's amiss, guys.
I mean, I think we so much as saw that when they were trying to have a conversation about their future, when they were visiting their apartment in Brooklyn that they hardly ever see because they've been in Montauk the whole summer. And she's like, let's buy a house. Like, that's the next step for me.
Yes.
He's like, I really don't want to commit to anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, guys, he's saying he doesn't want to commit to buying a house, but that really is saying he doesn't want.
He's not committing to her.
He's not committing to her, like, at all.
Right.
And I think that she's feeling that. And I don't necessarily think it's something they've discussed, but I think that she's feeling
Yes.
the
And
separation.
her friend that she's, always been ride or die for is now in a relationship with, I mean, granted, someone she's known for years and years and years, but they've only been dating for 10 months. And she knows that he's already looking at engagement rings, and they're probably going to get engaged pretty soon. And there might be a little resentment there.
I think so.
Just
Just a tad.
And I don't want it to get lost. I don't believe for a second that Danielle doesn't want this to happen for them. It's
No.
not like, oh, I don't want Lindsay to be happy. I don't want Carl. I think there's just resentment that, here's my best friend that I've loved forever. She's getting her happy ending, and I'm so happy for her. But here I am in this relationship that's going nowhere, and no one's checking in on me. There has to be resentment there, whether you want it to be or you don't.
And I think that's tough for her to say aloud.
Sure,
Explicitly.
of
I
course.
think it's hard for Danielle to go, I check in on you all the time. I'm not doing well and I need you to check in on me. That I think is the part that's hard for her. She keeps saying to her, like, I check in on you and I'm always there for you and I'm always supportive of you. What she's really saying is I do those things and I need those things too. But
In
she's
return.
but she's just missing the latter. She
Yeah.
can't say it. And maybe I'm going on a limb here, but just kind of speaking from being a Latina myself, I think that we're conditioned as Latinos within the community and in the culture. We're always taught to kind of just push through, and we don't talk about our feelings. We just have to go. We just have to keep going, and we need to be there for everybody else. We need to be there for our family. We need to be there for our cousins, our elders, our friends, our this, and at complete sacrifice and risk to our own selves. And I think that we're taught that from such an early age that I wonder if there's a part of her in certain ways where she doesn't want to talk about her emotions. We can see her get emotional.
Yeah.
But talking about her emotions and saying, I need somebody to also check in on me because I'm not doing well. And I have a hard time saying that aloud and putting that on the table because I never want to be a burden.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if this is coming from even more of a cultural place as well.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, because at the end of last week's episode, that's basically, she said very little. And I think Lindsay picked up on it pretty fast. She's like, you're suffering. Something's happening. I'm sorry. Something's happening. And,
Yeah.
and that's why the conversation kind of turned. But then obviously they're still having some cracks. The
They
two of
are.
them.
But they leave this conversation saying, we're moving on. We're
Yeah.
good. The next morning, you have Chris making his Honduran breakfast,
Oh, yeah.
which looked good.
It did look good.
I feel like
Beans.
this is the first episode in a long time, and it's carryover from last episode too, from last week. But this is the first episode in a long time where it kind of feels like we're feeling the summer house more so than we have.
There's a lot of camaraderie. And there was just a lot of people there.
There was. We haven't been able to see a party with more than 10 people, 20
Yeah.
people, maybe 30. And I know that has to do with some of the zoning and stuff, but it's been boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's not just because everyone's in bed by 10. Now, I know I've said that before in the past when we've talked about Summer House, but it's really because the parties that they're having are really minimal. We've had to see them go out a lot or like go to dinners or only hang out with themselves. And when there's only 10 to 15 to 20 people at the house, I think it makes a perfect recipe for people to go to bed early because
Yeah.
there's just nothing there to perpetuate a party and a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
And there's only so much Sam can do. Poor Sam. I feel like the party and the
Oh.
fun of the summer house is kind of rested on her shoulders a little bit
Oh, yeah.
because she's the fun one.
I like
right?
her, though.
Me too.
Yeah. I actually really like all of the newbies.
Same. I'm enjoying them.
Yeah. I
we don't
mean,
we don't have Maya this episode. It just dawned on me.
Well, I think she was still she was at the beginning.
She was
but-
still there.
But yeah, she wasn't in the rest of the episode.
How do you feel about Sam and Corey?
Oh, well, he's kind of gross to me, but I mean, that's just coming off of Winter House. But I actually
Yeah.
think it works because I think both of them know exactly what
they
they're getting
want,
into.
yeah.
Yeah, what they want. And I think she can handle him in a way that, like, for instance, whatever that girl's name was at the Winter House who was like, I'm in love with him. And I kind of felt like
She was so annoying. I can't remember her
but you know what I
name,
mean?
but
Like,
yeah.
I had a bigger problem with that because I knew that he wasn't into her like that. This to me seems like a
No.
very even playing field because they both seem like they're kind of equally into it, and I'm okay with it.
It feels even, and we come to find out that they're still together.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Like, you can see the chemistry between them. Like, they're just in it. You see it right away. Wait, what? Are you
Well,
laughing?
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing because I think at some point in the episode, she's like, yeah, and I can't remember what she says. It wasn't like, yeah, he ignores me or he does something, but she says something like, yeah, you know, he like pretends he's going to kiss me and then he doesn't. I know it's really toxic, but I love it. And I'm just like, I just love, like, she knows all of her toxic traits and she's okay with it. She's like, I know this is toxic, but I
It's
love
almost
it.
like BDSM in a way. Like,
Yeah.
there is a
It's the chase.
sexual
There's like a chase.
masochism
Yeah.
with it. Like, I love that he ignores me. I'm here
Hey,
for
if
it.
you're into
Yeah.
it, if you're into it.
Well, did you see at that one point she comes up to him and she's like, hey, what's your name? He's like, my name's Dodo. What's yours? I like what you look like. Like, you look cool. Like, I'm like, this like role playing within the party. And guys, keep in mind that they just met each
Yes.
other.
Yes.
So you can just tell that they just get each other.
They
right?
do. Yes, they do.
And then he does make that weird comment about spitting in her mouth as a
Oh.
complete joke. But
Yeah, and
she's like,
I like it.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then they flash back. She's like, this guy spit in my mouth. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what?
That's why
But
it
I'm
doesn't
here
really
for it.
bother me because I feel like it kind of works for them.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I was rewatching the episode when Betsy showed up and she came in at a part where it was about Corey and Sam. And Sam's like saying, you know, he gets me. Like, I like all the things. And they flash to all these photos.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is this? And it was Corey like kissing her
Oh,
leg.
yeah. I was like, I feel like I looked at that at the wrong angle. I'm like, what am I looking at?
Yeah. So they,
Yeah.
to me, they
They're just very playful.
they mesh well.
Yeah.
Very much in the same way that I think Craig and Paige are finally in this place
Yes.
where I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah.
Only because it's not to say that I ever questioned his love for her early on, but I think that he was still processing a lot of other baggage. Not that he was still in love with his exes or had feelings for his exes, but I
Yeah.
still think that he was processing a lot through that. And so in seeing he and Paige together then, it made sense. But even now, they just feel like they're in that like elevated space in their relationship where they're like, we're here and everything's cool
And we're comfortable.
calm and collected. Yeah.
I feel like there's confidence happening with that relationship.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, shout out to Craig and Paige. I mean, I love Paige. But I think it was it was either last week or the week before when I think it was one of the guys being like, well, are y'all ever going to move in together?
Carl, you mean?
No, it wasn't Carl. It was the other guy that I can't remember what his name is.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Sorry. Why are they all C's? I guess
Well,
except
Chris is
for-
new and he's touch and
guys,
go. We
I
can
just
talk
don't.
about that in a minute. but-
Sometimes when men come on the screen, I'm like, I don't know what your name is. But I think he asked Craig. Oh my God! See, there's just too many men that have the same name.
I got you. Kyle, Craig.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, are y'all ever
Corey.
going to move in? Exactly. Are y'all ever going to move in together? And I just love Craig's like, well, she likes her alone time and, she likes her shows. Like, I like that literally one of the reasons was that she likes her shows. And then Paige goes, I do like my TV shows. It was one of the most likable moments
It's
I've ever
very
seen Craig in my
endearing,
entire
yeah.
life, that he takes into account that Paige not only just loves New York and her family, but like she loves to watch her shows. And he is going to let her, whatever he does, he is going to let Paige watch her fucking TV shows. And
He is here to see.
loved that. That was a lot of growth for me with Craig.
We know
It made
that
me
you have
kind
a
of
soft
fall in
spot
love
for
with him
Craig.
again. Yeah.
We know you have a soft
I'm
spot
not coming for him, Paige, I promise. But
You had a sex dream about Craig, though.
years
Guys,
ago.
I
Months
never
and months
miss an
and months
opportunity to
ago.
bring that up because she did. She had a sex dream about Craig Conover.
Well,
I thought it was
That's-
really endearing
yeah.
when she started to cry about her mom, and he was like, "Oh my God, babe!"
Yes.
Last episode, no,
Yes.
babe, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, because it was just a
Yes. I mean, JJ speechless. She doesn't even know what to say. We were all speechless.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, you got choked up.
Yeah.
Was it the food coming up though?
Yeah.
Is it finally?
When I choked up from earlier. Maybe it's PMS, but no lie, I teared up.
Yeah. I really appreciated that moment. I was happy that he, you know, was like, "Oh, no, we'll work it out. I love you more than I love Charleston." So, I mean, listen, I was here for it. And I want to make no mistake, because I always do have a soft spot for Craig, but I want to make no mistake that Paige is the winner of this relationship.
Oh,
I mean,
100.
she is the real winner.
She has tamed.
Yeah, she
that
can really
lion.
she can handle him.
Yeah, she can. 100%.
And it's perfect. And I feel like she's a person, which I appreciate. Like, you can tell that she's in love with him, and that, like, you
she
know,
also puts him in his place.
she does, which I appreciate. But she
It's
also
different than Naomi did.
yeah, but she also has. I feel like she has not lost a single bit of her identity. And that
None
takes a very,
whatsoever.
very strong person, especially to be in a relationship with someone like Craig, who I think it would be easy to get wrapped up and kind of lose yourself. She hadn't done that.
No,
and
not
she's
at
made
all.
him
She's
better.
not
and
wavered
she,
at all.
Yeah, so I think, you know,
To me, they're a
Dinah
really great
might.
match. Yeah.
I think so too.
I love them together.
I do too.
Yeah, I can't wait for that Bravo wedding. I'm sorry. I don't need Lindsay and Carl. I need Paige and Craig getting married on Bravo.
Well, it's not happening anytime soon. You heard it from
Oh, by
Paige.
the way, I was here for that too. And she's like, I thought I wanted to be married by 30, and I'm 30, and no.
Oh, I love it.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I'm still not married.
And now we are Craig. We're 35.
Yeah, we're 35.
I love when Amanda
and
was
we're
like,
still not married.
ew, you're
Oh
35.
yeah. So we're back at the Honduran breakfast, and fuck you, Craig, for calling Paige out for turning 30 soon. Like, first of all, most of the internet can't even believe you're 35. Most of the internet thinks that Craig is like 42.
I know.
And I think that is so fucking funny. And I say that,
Craig.
and I
We
say that with
love.
jest. Yeah.
Yes.
But fuck off. And she's just barely turning 30.
Yeah.
I feel so old.
I know. I know.
I feel so old. And there's Craig all turning old now. And I'm like, bitch, you're literally 35.
Yeah. But that's what I really love this group is like that morning, because they're all just playing around. They're having fun.
Y'all, this is the
Like,
first time we've really
it's
seen them have a
just
good fucking
lighthearted.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that
I
kind of
want
stuff.
more of this, but I don't know if we're going to get that because the
Well-
impending nuptials, the engagement,
Well, we
I
have
think
to
is
be coming
going
to the end. We've got to be close.
I mean, yeah, but I think that we still have probably 5 or 6 episodes.
No.
Yes.
Like 1 or 2.
No way.
Really?
No way.
Wow.
Well, wait,
wait, like 5 or 6 with the reunions?
well, where are we in the summer? We just had,
Oh, it's August. It's like August 8th or something. It's like early August.
yeah, I would say we still have like 4 or 5 more episodes.
Wow.
Without the reunions.
Well, I'm glad the episode that I tuned into was a fun one for the most part.
Yeah, I think you got really lucky.
I did.
Unlike the rest of us who have been watching all season. The thing is that you have been watching, but it just hasn't been as much of an investment as it would be if it were Vanderpump.
Sure.
Or even Jersey.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
That's fair.
you're familiar. You're just not.
Yeah, I'm just not in it.
Here's the thing. Arguably, no one's in it. That's the thing. The cast isn't even in it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the cast more on social media than I enjoy them on their show.
Yeah. Okay.
But that has nothing to do with them. That has everything to do with the way that they're structuring the season,
yeah, it's tough.
in my humble opinion.
Well, speaking of that, I did feel like most of the episode really took place in the city, which I guess maybe was a nice
did.
change
And what
of
a
pace.
nice change of
Yeah.
pace. Also, I was living. I love real estate. So I was living seeing Lindsay and Carl's apartment.
It was nice. It was really, really nice.
Which, before we get there, I wanted to talk about the fertility scene.
I really thought that was so great.
You came into this recording pointing that out from the top.
Yeah.
You had said that that was one of your favorite scenes.
That was my favorite scene because these 3 women, I just love their friendship. I love this. And I also think, and I think even Amanda says it at some point in that scene, but I just like that these Paige and Sierra didn't really need to do this, but they knew that it would make their friend who really needs to do this feel more comfortable. So they all 3 did it together.
love
and like,
that.
yes, it's good to know where you stand and it's good to do this, but let's call it what it is. They did it so she didn't have to do it by herself.
which
and
is
I
really
really,
endearing.
really appreciated
Yeah.
that. And I think Amanda even said it in the episode, like, thank you guys for doing this with me. Like, you didn't have to. I would have done it. They're like, no, you didn't. We're doing it with you. There was a solidarity there. And that was such a great friendship scene. And I loved it.
They're
I
really
loved
good
it all.
friends. You can tell they really love each other. They really support each other.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Yeah.
Also, when Amanda just barges
yeah.
in,
Yes.
even Sarah's like,
Oh.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Also, we were talking about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like straight to the point.
That's friendship.
Yeah.
It was very similar how we used to see the dynamic between Katie, Stassi, and Kristen.
Yes. Yes.
They're just telling each other exactly
more
how it is.
insane.
Way
with
more
those
insane.
women, but still.
Way more insane. These other girls
still.
are a little bit more docile, a little bit more our speed.
Yeah.
But I enjoy seeing those friendship dynamics, those
Yes, big
interpersonal
time.
dynamics, because I think oftentimes we look at these Bravo shows and we question the validity or the veracity or the authenticity of some of these friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And in these little moments, these pockets of seeing these dynamics and there's not anything bombastic happening, it really allows it to breathe, and it really allows the space to validate us and feeling like, oh, these people really are friends with or without the cameras. And this is one of those scenes that to me made me feel like, yeah, guys, they're friends. I love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. The chemistry, everything is there.
Yeah, 100%.
And I thought it was, just a dynamite scene.
And I
It's
hate
really my
saying this,
favorite.
I didn't miss Maya this episode.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. So, yeah, I guess I didn't either in that regard. I didn't. But in fairness, like the three of them have been pretty close friends for, I feel like now 3 summers, right?
Yeah, for a while.
And Paige and Amanda even before that. I know Sierra came in a little bit later, but I don't know. There's just a chemistry with these 3 women. And like, yes, cameras or no cameras, these are people that are hanging out. Very similar to Vanderpump, like Kristen and Stassi and what was the other woman's name? Kristen. No,
Oh,
Katie.
Jesus,
I
Katie.
forgot Katie.
Yes,
like
Katie.
they would be hanging out whether the cameras are there or not. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's like that's a nice feeling because honestly, some of these housewives shows, we don't have that energy.
No,
Don't have that
I would say
energy
that
and
we
it's
have-
frustrating.
I would say we have that more with the large ensemble.
Yeah.
What I call the youth of
Yeah.
Bravo, like the branding.
The co-ed.
The co-ed viewing, guys. That's the Vanderpump, that's the Family Karma,
Southern
that's
Charm.
Southern Charm, Summer House, those, and Below Deck, right? But I
Yeah,
don't really want to
a little
consider
bit
that just
different.
because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
format's different. But
Yeah.
yeah, we oftentimes question that, I think, in other shows because we just don't really get to see these scenes that breathe and feel that they're authentic. And they are all friends, just like the cast of Southern Charm, they're friends, the cast of Vanderpump, they are friends. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, I agree.
And we see it also at the housewarming party.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this apartment?
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. If you guys are familiar with New York real estate, you'll understand that this apartment is just chef's kiss. It's also $13,000.
As I say,
a
do
month.
you think it does seem like it's 13,000, like what Paige said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. But I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Because like
I would,
it looks beautiful and like the view looked spectacular.
given what I know about real estate in New York, it looks like it's $13,000 a month.
Okay.
The balcony alone.
I know.
Because their
Balcony looks
balcony,
big.
their balcony looks about the size of my balcony,
Yeah.
which is big.
It's big. Yeah.
For the listeners out there who don't know what size that is, it's probably like 24 by 5 feet.
yeah.
So that's big.
Yeah.
But their place is really fucking nice. Really, really
Mhm.
nice. Beautiful.
What did you think about the cutout of Lindsay?
Bye.
Oh, you don't want it to be there anymore?
No, I understand why they have that stuff. It's like Shannon Bedore has that painting of herself in her bathroom.
Oh my God.
It was also a painting that Bravo gave the OC housewives. Or I think it was other housewives too. It was about 10 years ago. They got these gifts that kind of look like Andy Warhol screen print paintings of themselves that they all have hanging in their house. And that's what it kind of
did
looked like
Bravo
to me.
give this cardboard cutout of Lindsay or why did we have that? Because that to me is the difference.
Touche. And I don't disagree. I don't think that Bravo gave her a cutout. I think it was a gift from Bravo to the OC housewives.
Okay.
So it's a little different.
Okay, well.
a little different.
I mean, I kind of like it in a certain aspect. I feel like it's in the office to make Carl work harder. Keep working, Carl. Okay, look at my face and keep working.
Yeah. So how do we feel about this Danielle and Lindsay convo? I'm a little confused.
Well, it is confusing, and I just kind of wished we could have let it.
Go.
Yeah,
Well, I thought we had.
Exactly.
I thought we had, and we didn't.
I just, because it kind of started out okay because she came in, she brought that gift, the sheep, I guess, and gave some, some cards. And it seemed very normal. Like, it was like, oh, okay. It seemed
Yeah.
natural. It seemed okay. It didn't seem awkward.
No.
And then they go out on the balcony and they're talking. It was going okay. And then, we have to bring up again that, Danielle feels like, you're not checking in on me. But then Lindsay goes, well, what does she say? You're making me feel shunned or
You're shaming my relationship.
Yeah, she's basically like, I'm feeling like you're shunning me out. Like,
Yes.
I forget
You're shunning me.
Yeah,
like
I'm getting the words wrong, but basically she's like,
Yes.
I feel like you're, kind of like
Putting up a wall.
rejecting me in public or something. And Danielle's kind of taken aback by that. Like, well, I don't know what you mean. And it just goes, I mean, the reason you're confused is because it's confusing. To me, I think they're talking about two different things. I just need them to both kind of let it go. But I do think in this moment, Danielle really needed to be the one to just say,
yeah.
all right, I'm over it. Let's squash it.
I think that they're both valid in how they feel, but I think in this moment, it's not that I put the onus on Danielle to figure out what Lindsay's feeling and to be responsible for that, but I think that there is a culpability in this is where we need to start accepting that Lindsay's just not going to, quote, get it, even if she gets it. Whether she wants to get it or not, she's not getting it, and I don't want Danielle to cry over spilled milk. I want her to feel empowered and confident, and I want her to feel that she has other friends out there who can support her in the way that she needs. And I think that this is a moment where I understand where Danielle's coming from. I don't love the way that she approaches how she's feeling because it is a little confusing, and it's only allowing Lindsay, I think, to weaponize what Danielle is saying. And Lindsay's just a person who's never going to not be that. And at some point, you do have to take culpability and going, okay, you're never going to change. I gotta go. I don't think they're necessarily in their relationship in that place where it's easy for Danielle to go, I'm going to cut this off, but we're circling the drain. And I don't love the way that Danielle's approaching it. But at the same time, Lindsay's just not going to get it. And there's a little bit of responsibility there with Danielle. I just need her to I need her to walk away.
Well, we're
holding on.
Yeah, and we said this earlier. We want Danielle to just say, I'm having a hard time. I'm upset because I don't feel like you're here for me. This has nothing, I really don't believe this has anything to do with Carl. I don't think it has anything to do with the relationship. I think there are valid concerns like, wow, this is moving fast. But this is also somebody, they've known each other for a very long time. This isn't someone she just met on Tinder 9 months ago. Like, I think she'd be way more concerned if that were the case. But I do think that there are valid concerns about the timeline. But I have this argument that they're having has nothing to do with Carl and Lindsay. But Lindsay, of course, that is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, why aren't you happy for me? You don't want us to be together? Why don't you want us to be together?
That's not what it is either. And that also annoys me. It's like Danielle's approaching this horribly. But then Lindsay's also like, well, what? You don't want us to be together? That's not what she's saying. Like, I need her to stop doing that. I need her to take a moment and take a breath and go, hey, I've been friends with Danielle for a really long time. Let me take a second and go, what does she really mean? I've known her for a long time. What is she really trying to tell me? What is she really trying to say? And I understand that it's not our responsibility to always translate what our friends or family or whomever we're talking to are trying to say. But I also think that in an effort to support our friends, take a second, translate it a little bit, take a moment and go, who is this person? They're my really good friend. Use a little logic, use a little rationale, and try to speak their language. Understand that Danielle's not a person who is very vulnerable or opens up. Let her speak what she needs to say. Let her get it out. Come from a place of, what is she really trying to tell me? As opposed to going, well, what? You don't want us to get married? It's like, that's not what she's trying to say. Take a second.
Yeah. Well, I think that could also be part of the argument that Lindsay is kind of naturally a selfish friend. Maybe you don't really ask me a lot of questions about myself. You don't really know you don't check in on me. You don't ask me anything. I think so. It seemed, might be a little bit too much for Lindsay to try to
It's too much for both of them.
What's going on.
Danielle really can't say what she's feeling, and Lindsay can't ask how she's doing. So here's the thing. It's both of them.
Going nowhere.
I hate to be a neutral party in this, but at this point where we're at right now at this housewarming, it is both of them, and it is coming out, presenting itself and manifesting in ways that are deflecting from the actual problem. It's not about Carl and Lindsay. It's really about Danielle and Lindsay. And it's all of these other things. And it's kind of a perfect storm and kind of chaotic. And then the added layer is Carl showing Kyle the engagement ring, which I was so uncomfortable watching this.
Were you?
Yes. I was uncomfortable because it's so clear that Kyle is not, I mean, he's on board.
He's not into it. But
he's not into it.
Yeah.
He's supportive. In a lot of ways, probably what we're kind of wanting Danielle to be, which is get it, support it, judge it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
At this point, we got to start just talking shit behind everyone's back.
Yeah.
I don't really encourage that, but at this point, feel how you feel about it, have an opinion, but
you have to choose if you want to be on the ride or if you don't.
Yeah, correct.
So,
and Kyle's choosing the ride.
Kyle's like, I'll be in the ride in the back seat, turned around with the seatbelt on. And let's kind of see where the car goes.
After popping an Ambien.
Yeah.
The blackout for this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's, I guess we'll see what happens. I also feel like, you know, both of them, even Carl, like finding the ring on his phone, neither one of them seemed like super pumped up. It just felt like a very mellow, like showing your guy, like, this is the ring I'm going to go. Oh, cool. But
here we are.
Here
I know
we are.
didn't talk about it, but
What?
before we go, how do you feel about Chris?
Not much. I mean, he's all right. I get kind of a weird vibe from him. Like he tries really, really hard to like flirt, and sometimes
Yeah.
it comes across very awkward and maybe inappropriate unless you're into it. I don't know. I just can't really get a read on him. But
Did you watch the episode where he steals Ciara's panties?
no. What? Did somebody? Why do you do that? Okay, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? What do you mean?
I'm not laughing because I am encouraging this behavior or I'm excusing this behavior or I think this behavior is
Wait.
appropriate.
So he is inappropriate. He's out of control. What's the deal?
Okay, so a few episodes ago, Carl had some grand idea to haze Chris and initiate him into their brotherhood because there's only the three of them, right? It's only Carl,
Oh
Kyle,
my
and Chris.
God.
And so they tell him that he has to do, they tell him that he has a thing that he has to accomplish or whatever it is when you haze, you know, like you have to go a scavenger hunt or whatever. He has to go to the girls' room and take their clothing or something from them and hide it. So he takes normal things from everybody else's room and then he goes to Ciara's and takes panties.
Ew.
Now, prior to doing this, Kyle makes a joke like, you know, don't be afraid to take some underwear and if you want to sniff it. It's so
Okay.
bad. It's so
Which I
I'm laughing because I'm so uncomfortable that they did this. So this was literally 2 episodes ago. You might have just missed it because it was very flash in the pan, and also the scenes with the guys are really boring.
Yeah,
so
I probably didn't pay
oftentimes-
attention to
Yeah,
them.
oftentimes I'm not paying attention to those scenes as much. Now I watched the episode like 2 or 3 times for the recap, but like at
Okay.
first glance, I'm not thinking about that. And so you know. He's encouraged by the guys, and I know that this is all kind of supposed to be like in jest, right? It's all a joke, it's all a prank, it's they're playing these, you know, characters of like a fraternity, and they're doing a nod to like 80s movies. My problem with all of this is that it's just
16
problematic.
candles. Yeah.
Literally, that's how he presents the underwear. He does,
What?
yes.
Oh my god.
He literally he's like, look, guys, and he has it crumpled up in his hand, and he like does this, and like, and you guys can't see
Does
it right now, but
does
like,
he even
here's
know
his
if these
show.
are new or used, or he didn't? We don't know that information.
I think that he knows that they're clean
Okay. I like that I said new. I meant
and
clean.
used.
Well, I meant clean. I meant to say clean or
I
dirty.
know,
That would have been
I
a more
know, I know,
normal
I
thing
know.
to say.
But I think because they go into it knowing that this is supposed to be like, ha ha, funny, laugh. I think that they know it's not meant, it's all in good fun, right? But the
Sure.
problem here is that this all in good fun, it being a joke, is not translating the way that they think that it is. To me, it just comes off really weird. And then Kyle making like the weird joke about sniffing the underwear just kind of also lends to something that feels a little weird. And like they also make another joke saying something like, oh, Kyle has a chub now. It's just like very boys will be boys and
Yeah.
a nod to, you know, John Hughes films. So I get what they're trying to do, but I gotta be honest, it's 2023 and it's not landing as a joke. It's kind of landing as weird. And
Well, also going off what you said, the fact that, you know, I'm not saying it would have been better if he only took everybody's underwear. Like the fact that he singled out only her, that seems
yeah, it's
weird.
It feels
And
weird.
I don't have the type of rapport clearly with him because I can't really remember. That to me would lead a little bit more like creepy cringe, like gross. Whereas if Kyle or someone did it and like we really know who Kyle is and we know exactly what the intent is, it might
that's
land
right.
a little differently.
correct.
You know what I mean? And the only thing I really remember about him is that he tried to flirt with Ciara as well.
Yeah.
And it came off very like again,
Pushy.
it wasn't like, oh my God, wow, red flag. But
But it just comes off like really weird and nerdy.
yeah, but like
Uncomfortably.
yeah.
Now, And my only thing about this was that as long as Ciara wasn't weirded out and as long as Ciara wasn't creeped out and as long as she didn't care, I am not going to care.
Yeah.
But as a viewer watching this, not knowing anything about him, and I 100% agree with you. I think if we knew him a little bit differently, we wouldn't care as much. Like if Carl did it, we would all be laughing and be
Sure.
whatever. But you hit the nail on the head and that's what it is. We don't know Chris like that. So it's not landing for us because we don't know Chris's personality enough to know that, like, oh, yeah, this is a joke, but this is just Chris and they're all
Right.
friends and no big deal. So, but you'll have to go back and watch that moment.
Oh, nah.
You're like, I'm
okay.
good. I'm good.
I'll just go watch 16 Candles. The real underwear story.
Which, by the way, guys, as much as we love those films, I think we can all agree and attest that they're a little problematic.
well, that's why they're in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's a different time. Anyway,
anywho.
thank you guys for joining us on this Summer House recap.
Yes. I hope, you learned as much as I did.
Which is what?
I don't know.
What did you learn this episode? What did you learn?
I don't know. I guess not much.
What you guys learned is that Betsy's coming with me to Taylor Swift.
Are you ready for it?
Are you ready for it? Guys, as
We
always.
will take a video and we will share it with y'all.
Oh, we will. But guys, as always, please do not forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you scroll all the way down at the bottom, you'll see this little link there that's buy us a cocktail. If you're feeling up to it, donate, buy us a cocktail.
We would love that. And we thank you for it in advance.
We thank you and we thank you.
Yes. Sometimes thank you's enough.
Guys, you know what? I'm really bad at closing out. It's the weirdest part of recording the podcast is closing out. But yeah, anyway. All right, guys. Thank you for
All
joining
right.
us.
Goodbye.
Bye.